Going strong. If you're looking to upgrade or get your first RV, contact the family that knows RVs, Highway Campers. They'll walk you through the process of finding the right RV for you and can even finance it for you. Visit www.highwaycampers.com and find your home on wheels. After all, home is where you park it. Highway Campers is a proud supporter of Griswold Youth Football.
You see the signs everywhere. No alcohol if under 21. No tobacco under 21. No vaping supplies under 21. It's 21 for a reason.
Youth that use alcohol are more likely to engage in other risky behaviors, such as gambling. Learn the warning signs and how to talk to your children about addiction.
It's 21 for a reason. Brought to you by CIRAC and funded in partnership with SAMHSA. Find out more at CIRACCT.org.
Your community radio.
Live from Main Street.
Mike Minarski and Paul Lash in the morning and 80s all day and night.
SNSN.
Like they always say things that aren't stupid usually. And when they are stupid, it's funny.
There's the drum. So how was your evening?
My evening?
Your evening last night. What did you do? What did you and your lovely wife do? Did you guys go out, party? Did you go out and watch livestock in your backyard like you normally do?
She was at Kitty Harbor.
She was at Kitty Harbor, huh?
Yeah. She don't come home till late on Tuesdays.
So you were a cat widow.
No, I was.
You're a cat widower.
Cat widower.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a new term. That's pretty good. Was the wildlife in the backyard? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was out there like 5 o'clock.
What the
still light.
Are we talking about the bobcat?
No, the deer.
The deer were out there at 5 o'clock last night?
5 o'clock last night, they were out in the backyard.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's lunch, man.
I guess so.
Did you? No, for you. I mean, that's. Are you a fan of venison?
A fan of what?
Venison.
No. Otherwise, I'd have free steaks on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really. I don't think this is hunting season right now.
Is that? I mean,
I don't know.
So what are you saying? Whoop, can't eat because it's not hunting season.
No.
If you're hungry, you're gonna kill the thing and eat it.
No, there's like 7 of them out there.
Really? Merry Christmas.
My poor backyard out there looks like a freaking cow farm where the hoofs have dug up all the grass.
Do they poop all over your yard and stuff?
No, I don't really see too much of that.
All right.
Just that they're, because of the wetness of the ground.
Yeah.
It's all dug up.
What about the bobcat? Any more?
He came by last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was down at the senior center. So he came running through a couple of days after you saw him at the senior center.
Did you go over and pet him?
What? Did I pet him? Oh, yeah, sure.
He looks harmless.
Yeah, see? I pet him. I got 3 fingers.
I got 3 fingers left.
Yeah.
All right. It's Wednesday. We got a couple things to talk about. Mike, that's me. And then we've got the besties, Paul and Megan.
I can imagine the look on her face.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's the Megan look. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What's up, Megan?
Not a whole lot.
Why don't we get to put this a little bit closer? There you go.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
Is this a little abusive for you to come up here and join this show?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is it something that you just is it just like, oh God?
No, I mean, I have a half hour before work usually, so I just come up here because it's in the same building.
So have you two been hanging out? I mean, since you become besties,
Absolutely
being on the
not.
ship. No. Whoa. That was pretty definitive, Paul.
Yep.
One thing about me is I don't spend a lot of time just hanging out with old men.
There you go, Paul.
Goes for Paul, goes for many other old men.
Yeah, she don't hang out with me either. So I mean,
Does it
You're right,
bother
I
me?
don't.
yeah.
Does it bother me? No.
Whoa, Paul says, yeah. I don't care.
I don't really care.
I don't care about the bitches.
I didn't say that.
You were thinking it.
No. I wouldn't say that unless I meant it.
Yeah.
So I didn't say that.
All right. So the subject today is we're called a distressed community.
I
Griswold is a-
thought we were at one time.
I said we're called a distressed community
We still are.
as per the state. Right.
Yeah.
So what's the definition of a distressed community?
A lot of poor people.
Okay. Per capita, right? Compared to other towns.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Mhm.
Do you know what Megan, what the definition of a distressed community is?
We haven't gone over that in any of my classes.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, Paul's right. That's basically what it is.
Yep.
So if that is the case, if we are a distressed community, a small town distressed community, then why are they cutting education funding?
Because it has to go to Hartford, New Britain, Waterbury. That's why. Got to give them all the money.
Yeah.
Because those mayors got their heads up Lamont's you know what.
So
How many times do you see the mayor of Hartford and Lamont together?
a lot.
He's always
They're always
because they're
together.
butts buddies.
Yeah.
So what do you think Hartford gets taken care of? Remember, Hartford almost went bankrupt.
Well, we've talked about it a lot, though. How Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven, Danbury.
Which,
You can throw Waterbury into that bucket.
yep,
As far as being huge Democratic towns. There are people that are registered Democrats.
Yep.
And that's where that's where a lot of the money goes.
and it's one of the dangerous cities in the state of Connecticut.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh,
Hartford?
I'll read them to you.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Guess what number 9 is?
Are we talking about in the state or in the
In the state of
Okay,
Connecticut.
in the state of Connecticut, the number 9 most dangerous
City.
city is
Plainville.
what?
Plainville.
Wow.
Yep. Number 8, Meriden.
I believe that.
Number 7, Waterbury.
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe that.
Number 6, East Hartford.
Okay.
Number 5, West Haven. Number 4,
West Haven is a little funny because West Haven is actually the more affluent part of New Haven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, North Haven.
North Haven,
North
definitely.
Haven. Yeah.
Number 4, New London.
That's funny.
Well, the London lately has had some murders and stuff there.
They've hit a new personal best, I hear.
Said 1 in 93 of chance of being a victim of crime.
Great.
Yeah. Number 3, Bridgeport.
Yeah. Well,
Number 2, Hartford.
Yep.
Number 1, New Haven.
New Haven.
So that's where your money goes.
Right. So we're getting cut. I think the number was 50 grand.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then with pilot, it was like $70,000 altogether. I mean, I'm probably wrong on the number, but I thought I heard Alex Reslak say it was, or Eric, the finance director, saying that just ECS funding was 50 grand just this year. So let's go back to what's a distressed community.
Well, apparently,
If you're a distressed community, why are they cutting your ECS funding
well, I think it's a different
or education
It's
funding?
a different interpretation, and depending on which side of the river you live on.
And you know what? There's a lot to be said for that. There are things that people say, well, you're just trying to make an argument, or you're just a Republican, for saying that. It's
not true.
It's not. It's really that's where the money goes.
The
East of the river, we don't say.
East of the river has taken a hit forever. It's never been.
Yeah, it's never been a Republican or Democrat thing.
No, it's always been.
You can make it that, or it seemed like that, but
because
it's
the
not.
politicians don't care about this side of the state. They never did, and that goes on for years. Not just not during the monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Laura, good morning. Laura says there is a lot of local crime that isn't covered by news/social media. My sister works as a dispatcher for a local town, and she says it's bad with the amount of crime going on.
Sure.
Yeah.
But just don't advertise it. We don't have a big TV station here that is going to bring it to light.
I don't think that matters.
Well, it would, because then how many times do you see on TV another killing in Hartford, another shooting here, another shooting
Because they
there?
carry the sensationalism.
That's what
death,
they want.
grief, sorrow,
So
and murder.
we
I
don't
mean,
have
that's what
that
they
here.
do.
We don't have that here.
Right?
But if we had that here, it would certainly
Have you
be
not
news.
been on Grizzle Down? or Plainfield residents. Those two boards are brutal because everybody's looking for the 15 minutes of fame, you know? And then they don't even look who posted 5 minutes ago. Oh, I'm going to post it too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's crime going on here that we just don't bring it up. Although the guy from the Wendy's, he made the local news.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in court day before yesterday. Yeah. He's got anger issues. That's what he told the court.
Okay. Then get therapy.
Well, he's got anger issues, and apparently they're going to get him on some other charges now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he went to court. He goes back to court in April.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have anger issues,
He's been fired, of course, too.
What?
He's been fired.
Yeah, I don't want him making my burger.
Yeah. No, he's gone.
I wonder how that has affected business there at that fast food restaurant.
Well, I don't think so because he was a night shift guy. Most people.
What's like? I don't know. Yeah, but still, it's the stigma.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's the stigma of this person working there and becoming a public figure because of something that he did that negatively impacted somebody else in a serious way,
And you
especially
don't know,
with today's standards.
you
Right?
don't know who else he messed with.
I told you I had a little.
Well,
run
you
in
had
with
a
him.
problem with it too, but who else had?
I don't know.
No, maybe they just didn't come forward and said they did. So
Megan, let me ask you: if you hear of, are you familiar with what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were.
Yeah.
Does that stop you, even though that dude's not there anymore? Does that stop you from possibly going there? Let's say if you were a fan of their food, would you still go there, or would you say, "Whoa, you know what? I'm going to think twice and maybe go somewhere else"?
I mean, I probably wouldn't go there.
See, yeah,
Like,
that's go ahead.
knowing that they had employed this person, like, for a period of time, regardless of was this the first incident, was this the second incident, third, blah, 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 blah.
Which we don't know.
We don't know, which theoretically leaves room for it to not have been the first incident, just the first incident he got caught.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
well, I've been there.
That's a good point.
I've been there during the day. I've never had any issue with anybody giving me a hard time. Never.
Okay, and that's fine.
I mean, because a lot of times I used to stop up there for lunch when I went to Big Y shopping, and I'd get stuff to take home. And
Yep.
never was I
Accosted?
not at all. No. You know, yeah, can I have a straw? Yeah, they just hand it to you. Here you go. You know, it was very friendly. So
Well, no, that's not saying
I know, but
You
they
know-
never gave you a hard time.
Huh?
So I never got a hard time with it.
no, but that's not saying that every employee
No, they're not.
of a particular restaurant or establishment is that way.
No.
But what I'm saying is because this one person and his situation was put out there, he was arrested, he's from here or from that restaurant, does it now carry a stigma of I don't want to go there?
In theory, theoretically, he is representing the business. He's become the face of the business.
He is Wendy's.
Like,
Ooh, well, Wendy's, man.
yeah. So he's the face of the business for the time being until
Yep.
something else happens to change it. When you think of that Wendy's, you're gonna think of that incident. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like I have worked in retail, like corporate retail, for a very long time, and the first thing they tell you is just like you're the face of this, like you're representing our business.
And
Like
that's
do not
very
put
true.
like don't go on social media and post anything about the business because like you're gonna make us look bad. Which-
Yeah.
Well, I think people forget.
Oh, people totally forget.
They'll forget. I mean,
Yeah.
they may lose business for a few weeks until this thing gets out of the news, but other than that, and a lot of people probably stop by there because they're on their way up the turnpike or something. And Duncan's there.
I think another thing is just performative activism. People are going to pretend to be outraged just because it makes them look better, and then they'll get over it and get on
Because they're
with their
hanging out with the
lives.
Joneses kind of thing.
I don't know what that means, Michael.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, so like you see it a lot with a lot of social issues. Just people like pick a side. They post all day long about this is an issue, this is an issue, this
Yeah.
is an issue, and then they forget about it and never think about it again.
Can you imagine working for that guy? Huh? If he treated
Yeah.
customers that way, how do they treat the employees? I'm surprised nobody came forward to get to the guy. If he had anger issues, he must have been ticking off at the
Maybe, but you know, to Megan's point earlier, maybe they had, and maybe just nothing was said about it. It was just kind of swept under the rug. You kind of wonder how many
We don't
times that
know.
happens in other companies too, and other
Well,
forms of retail
so-
or corporate America.
In my corporate experience, I've never worked for a corporate office, but I've worked store side. I've reported issues previously, not regarding like racism, but like sexual harassment, perhaps. And they swept it under the rug and said, that's just how he is. You just have to take it with a grain of salt.
How long ago was that?
That was 2020.
That stuff
That's
still
surprising.
happens.
That shouldn't. And I won't. Was that a small company?
No, this was a big, like, multi-million-dollar corporation.
Wow, I'm surprised
No, I there's a lot of that goes on.
because now that is very, very looked at as man.
This same person I like watched just perform predatory behaviors, and like maybe that is just how he is, but it makes people like myself, a small young
Uncomfortable.
female, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, because some people can be. They're just their personality. They talk to you and then they touch you. But that's their personality because they're trying to be friendly. They're not trying to be any sexual thing against you. But that's just their personality. But today's environment, you shouldn't be doing that at all.
Mhm.
You can't even tell. You can't even tell a woman that, oh, you look good today. Oh, you got a nice clothes on today. You can't say any of that stuff anymore. Because then you're under the gun.
Well, you can, but you can't be predatory. You can't. Like,
What dictates predatory though?
So I'm a young woman,
Mhm.
okay? So this situation was I was wearing a nice outfit and my coworker approached me and said, "You look sexy, I like it."
Well, see, now that's
saying,
inappropriate.
yeah, instead of saying, "Hi, I like your outfit," he told me I was sexy and he liked it.
Yeah.
That's predatory. Like, I'm 20 years old, like,
At that point.
and you're well into your 60s. Why are you telling me I'm sexy and you like it
So
in a workplace environment?
And how old was this person? Was he a young person?
Oh,
He
you
was
said
in his, you just said he was in his 60s.
Oh, was his 50s?
60s.
Oh, 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the words, here's the thing.
If a man comes up to me and says, "Hey, I like your outfit. You look
Mhm.
nice," I'm not gonna think about it. Like,
Right.
it's, "Oh, thank you." Like, but if a man comes up to me and says, "You're sexy and I like it," that's another thing. Like, that's completely different. It's how you
Yeah.
word it. It's how.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's inappropriate.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
It's inappropriate.
Right.
But again, that 60-year-old probably didn't go through the whole sexual harassment thing that the younger generation.
Well,
is
they
going through.
did, because in said corporation and the
You
state
have
of
to go through
Connecticut mandates a 2-hour sexual harassment
Oh.
training yearly.
Well, about those trainings. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that those trainings are BS,
Oh, totally.
and
But-
and they're there just to go ahead and say, okay, we did it.
right. But
How many people, let's watch a video. So you put the video on, turn the volume down. How many people do this? And then they just go off and do something else. But it's calculated that you watch the video.
I mean, I guess that's a fair point.
I know when I first went through it, it was actually a classroom type thing
Mhm.
with examples, what you could do and what you couldn't do. That's when it first came out. Was what?
I had one, I think, at the same business, the same job. The training, you had to like answer questions based on the video so they
Yeah.
knew you were engaged.
Was it harassment or was it not? I mean, that's what they used with the video. Yeah.
So it's a lot of it perception.
I don't know. I don't have time. I gotta go.
Oh, it's work time.
It's time to go.
It's 8:58. But it's a good point, though. It's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Hey, Megan, you look nice today.
Thank you, Michael.
He can get away with that.
No, not any more than anybody else.
See, I
You
wouldn't.
know?
Even, I would never say that to anybody anymore.
Paul, those headphones look hot on you.
The what?
Is that predatory?
I've had enough of you. Bye.
Your bestie's leaving, Paul.
Yeah, she don't hang out with old people. She'll get there someday.
Hey, Victoria, how are you? She says it's definitely perception, and I think that is a big part of that.
Yeah,
I really do. I think perception is huge.
Yeah, and I
everybody has a different definition, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
I had worked with a guy who was my supervisor at the time, and he was brought up on sexual harassment charges. And not that he did do anything; it's just whatever he said, it was taken out of content or something. But you're on your own. In other words, if
Yeah.
you're brought up on, if you're in a position someplace within a work environment, and
Mhm.
somebody brings you up, guess what? That company ain't supporting you at all. You're on your own. You get your own lawyer. You get this, and you're stuck.
Well, they don't want to be part of that
Yeah.
because that is a media. That is a black eye.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That is a media or just a black eye in general.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, did this fast food company, did they separate completely from this guy saying, well, you're on your own, pal? Probably yes, because they're going to have to come out with statements
Well, I think
saying
they
that
got
it
rid
is
of him.
not part of their culture.
And they
It's
did.
not-
They've
Right.
already come out with
Yeah.
that statement.
So, I mean, it puts it back on their heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's on his own now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but they're going to get him on some other charge of some kind. Who the hell knows?
But then again, it's perception.
Yeah.
Some of it is absolutely perception. I had a situation, I think I've told you this story when I was about, how old was I? I want to say I was about 27, 28, where I was at a gas station and I locked my keys in my car. And this was like 11 o'clock at night. So I called AAA. They said, well, we'll be there sometime in the next week. You know how long it takes them to get out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there. And a young lady about my same age, was there, walked into the store, and she said, and I was just sitting on the curb. I didn't even pay attention to her. And she said, you okay? I went, yeah. What happened? Because, if you're sitting on the curb outside of a convenience store, generally something is wrong, right?
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I locked my keys in my car. Oh, do you have AAA? Yeah. Okay. And then we just continued talking and talking and talking. We ended up talking for 3 hours. Anyway, long story short, I had said to her, I said, hey, you want to continue this conversation? She said, sure. So she goes, here's my work phone number. That should have been signal number one. We can, give me a call sometime. Okay, fine. Now this is like 30 years ago.
Mhm.
So I don't even remember her first name now, even to this day. I said, all right. So I waited a couple of days. And then I called her. Hey, how are you? Hey, blah, 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 whatever. The next day, I sent her just a bouquet of flowers just to say thank you. I thought she was nice. We had a good conversation. Maybe, have dinner or whatever some night, whatever. Next thing I know, there's a cop that comes into my work and asks me if I sent flowers to this woman. Yes. Well, of course he knew. He had the receipt. They investigated and okay, fine. So I had to go in and talk, and I told the accusation was I was calling her at home and making lewd statements. Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even know her last name. No idea. And I told the detective, I said, I called her at work. She gave me her number there. She worked at this place. Okay. I don't even, whatever. So we talked for a few minutes and he goes, yeah, we don't have anything here. I said, well, I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you. Turns out, okay, perception is reality, right? All right. It turned out that, and I never told you this story.
You did tell me about this.
Okay.
But I don't remember. It was a while ago.
So I left and just kind of, at that time I had a couple of friends that were Norwich police officers. And what I had found out was this young lady who gave me her phone number for at her work and not her home. Again, dead giveaway, but I'm naive as. She was engaged to another gentleman, and the guy showed up where she worked, wanted to know where the flowers came from. So now she's in between a rock and a hard place. So what does she do?
Blames you.
She says, yeah, I met this guy and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Formulated this story about this. He made her go to the police station. Yeah. She ended up getting a ticket for filing a false report.
Wow.
So anyway, we talk about the stigma, right? You know, we're talking about the stigma, like, you know, do you go back to this fast food restaurant because this quote unquote 22-year-old manager who doesn't have a clue what's going on when you come on, 22 and they're putting you, I mean, it just means you can count money. That's all it means. Doesn't mean you can supervise. Does it change the stigma of whether or not you want to go there or you want to spend your money there? Me, very far and few between have I bought people flowers after that in the last 30 years. Maybe 3 people.
Wow.
One of them being my daughter. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with a flower store. Has all to do with, now I equate flowers with, I'm getting a call from a detective.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Yeah. Understandable. Yeah. But I'm sure a lot of that stuff still goes on. I mean, for a while they were catching all these legislatures in Washington with sexual harassment crap a few years ago, if you remember.
It goes on everywhere, Paul.
Of course it does. Yeah. It's something that happens. I mean, not only that, there's a lot of things that go on in the workplace where a lot of females and men get together. You know, it's like crapping on your place where your food is, you know, where they get together and then screw up their whole life and screw up their marriage and everything else.
What about, is it just females?
No.
Of course not.
No.
There's a story in Connecticut right now where there was a young man under the age of 18, just recently, in the last week, was that he'd get together at a friend's house and had been texting with one of the teachers.
Yeah.
You heard about this?
Yeah.
Right.
She's a very pretty woman, too.
Apparently, she was sending indecent photos of herself from a certain site. I'm thinking it was OnlyFans. Because, you know, OnlyFans is basically a step up from Pornhub, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. What it is, OnlyFans is basically a site where people, you know, yeah.
Really? I don't know. Never heard of it.
And they charge subscriptions.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, you see, there's been a lot of that.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Not a lot of it, but there's been that type of thing going on for the last couple of years. How many teachers, female teachers, and got messed up with students?
But what I'm saying is that it's not just women. It's and I guess his boy felt really, really uncomfortable, and he ended up the teacher ended up picking him up and went off to a location.
Yeah.
And the only thing they said was something happened that was sexual in nature. They didn't say that they actually had sex.
Right.
So whatever it was, you know, they're not saying as of yet.
They're not going to say because the case is still pending. You know, we always said back when I was in school, how come that never happened to me?
I was just going to say,
yeah,
you know, boys and girls are different. And I know I'm being chauvinistic with this. Yeah. But if a pretty teacher, I mean, we all heard about, you know, guys that had like crushes on some teachers and girls too.
Oh, yeah.
They had crushes on teachers as well.
Yeah.
So if a teacher, I had a crush on, and I never had a crush on a teacher, but if I did, the next thing I know, it's like, you want to go get a soda? You know, we'll sit and we'll talk about your test scores. Yeah. Oh, you know, I'm unhappy in my marriage, and you know, and that's why I teach, and I really love the kids, and
Yeah.
whatever. And then all of a sudden, it goes into something else.
Yeah.
What's that kid thinking?
I mean, it
The
probably
kid's not sitting there thinking, I'm going to go ahead and be part of a crime. No. That kid's thinking, hey, this is my crush.
Yeah. I mean, it probably went on a
Perception.
lot more years ago, but it was never publicized like it is today. You know?
Nothing's publicized like it is today because of the advent of social media.
Yeah, because right now, if you remember, no social media. How did you keep track? What did they have to prove that something was going on? Right now, everybody texts and does all the fancy social media stuff, and it's pretty easy to catch you in the act of what you're doing. But back then, years ago, what did they have? Nothing. So I'm sure a lot of it went on, but just wasn't publicized like it is today. But I was kind of surprised to see this teacher, wondering, I mean, why didn't she have somebody her own age? Because it wasn't like somebody hit her in the face with a doorknob. I mean, she was very, very pretty teacher.
I understand that, but maybe her own perception of herself was something totally different.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
It's just the outside shell, Paul.
I was kind of shocked
Right?
to see it myself.
It's just the outside shell.
Yeah.
Like you on the outside, you're a very scary looking human being.
That's fine.
But on the inside, you're a lovely, lovely man.
Oh boy.
But people don't give you a chance, Paul. Because
that's all right.
you're okay with that.
I don't care.
But my point is that,
I see your point.
she may have, a beautiful, sexy exterior, but inside, she may be thinking,
Yeah,
I'm not good enough.
You don't
for
know
this.
what's going on in her
You know what?
life
Maybe
either.
I can entice, because I can be in control.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on in her life.
We do not.
Who knows? But anyway,
Either way,
it's
not something that.
yeah. No.
It's definitely not something that I agree with, and I think therapy is important.
Yeah.
Then again, I'm not a doctor, so
Yeah.
not too many people talking about it in the chat room, and I think this is one of those subjects that people don't want to talk about because they don't know what to say because it could be construed as, well,
Yeah.
that's a little out there.
Yeah.
But it's not. Everybody has their thoughts and feelings about this, and I'm curious in what people think.
Yeah. A lot of people might be, they might have been experienced it too in their own work environment. We don't know. They never did anything about it. So it's pretty touchy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So change the subject.
Your turn. I brought up the first two subjects.
I brought the thing about the bad towns,
Oh, yeah, but we were talking about ECS.
which is
You
unfortunate.
caveated off of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Victoria's there. What about Sterling? What's going on with your ECS funding? Because I guess there was a memo that was sent out from 64 towns, about this, and wondering why are we all getting cut? Why do we have to be repping BPT, East Side, Bridgeport?
I don't know. I don't know why we're getting cut because they figured they can take the money away from here just as easy. Nobody's going to complain. So take it away from here and give it to the other towns.
Well, the budget's not finalized, I guess, on the state level. I think it's June 1st.
No, it could
I
be.
think that's what Eric Christensen said last night.
You can still complain, but
yeah,
is it going to do you any good? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
Budget season. Almost anything can happen.
It's just unfortunate that this side of the state doesn't all stand together and go after them.
We should secede.
We should just
secede from the union.
We're going to be Eastern Connecticut and they can be Western Connecticut. We're going to split it like they did with Virginia.
We should be Connecticopolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't give Hartford a nickel. We don't get any Hartford. Well, we got to be careful because we're looking for Hartford money now.
And we wouldn't get any NIP money. Then they wouldn't have anything to
We
complain
need
about
more
downtown.
than NIP money because let's get back. The infrastructure is going to require some grants, so we got to bend over and kiss you know what in order to get. We got to kiss the ring.
Isn't there a state right now that's trying to secede from the United States?
Yeah, I think it was
Idaho or
Oregon.
Oregon?
I think it was
They
Oregon.
want to be their own country, or
Yeah.
okay,
A couple of them wanted to leave and become part of Russia.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like Native Americans, and isn't that definitely a different country altogether, or technically, or whatever? Like
There are,
Ma-
yeah.
Mashantucket is
That-
its own sovereign nation.
They are.
Okay,
It's not part of the state of Connecticut.
right.
That's why they have their own law enforcement and
Fire
and so
department.
it's all, they're not part of the state. It's part of the reservation. I believe Mohegan's the same way because it's sovereign land.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So if that's the case, why do they have to form agreements with slot machine revenue?
well,
See, it's like
yeah, there's still some legal ramifications there that they had to.
if it's their own country.
Well, it's not. It's a sovereign nation. I don't know if you'd call it a country.
Okay.
I mean, the state still supplies them some kind of service. Okay, I mean, so in order to get there, they have to go across the state highway or state roads. I mean, it's still part. You got to go through Connecticut to get to the reservation. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a teenager going on the reservation, Mashantucket Reservation down in Ledgers, and so they were very poor. It was a typical reservation that was really beat up, and they lived in trailers, and I mean, it was bad the way they lived.
Yeah.
And it's now, of course, it's all built up now, thanks to the
Skip Hayward.
thanks to casinos and stuff. So yeah.
A sovereign nation is a nation that has one centralized government that has the power to govern a specific geographic area.
Mhm.
Under the definition set by international law, a sovereign nation has a defined territory with just one government.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. The following, there are sovereign states. Let's see. Here's a list. All right. Let's see who's in the list. This is all in just the Americas. It doesn't say anything about the United States.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Massachusetts isn't a state. Massachusetts is a commonwealth.
Okay.
Which Texas isn't a state either. There another.
It's Commonwealth.
Is Texas? I don't know if Texas is a commonwealth or what's Texas, but I know Massachusetts is a commonwealth. So I don't know, but yeah,
193 in the United States that are sovereign.
I don't think there's most reservations, and there's a lot of casinos now that are being run by Native Americans now.
Mhm.
They're all over the place. So
I'm trying to find a list here. Whoops.
I mean, there's a lot of casinos down south in the west that
Mhm.
belong to Native Americans.
Okay. No, it's buried somewhere.
Yeah.
Victoria says, I know a guy that formed his own sovereign empire. He lived in Massachusetts, refused to pay taxes, did his own thing with his property. When he passed, he left it to his kids. So how do you do that?
Oh.
How does one do that? You go down to town halls, like, I'd like to create my own sovereign nation.
I don't know what the qualifications are to become your own. I don't know.
What do you have? What do you do? How do you? Is there a textbook?
I don't know.
Is there a book I can buy off of Amazon?
Could be.
How
I
do
don't know.
I become my own sovereign nation?
Yeah.
That could be a cool project.
Yeah.
And you could be defunct and go back, but
Yeah. You could make your
that
house.
is kind of cool, though.
You'd be a sovereign nation. Yeah. You could be, what are you, Polish, right? So you could be a Polish sovereign nation.
Okay.
'Cause I'm sure it's related to your heritage.
You know what? I don't know crap about my heritage.
Yeah. Because
I don't.
speaking of Poland, I heard that Biden in his speech or something said he wanted to add SKI to the back of his name.
Bidensky.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, that's all beat.
What's the matter with that, man? You gotta,
I don't. I never. What comes out of that guy's
well, all
mouth.
those documents that they found,
yeah.
with Biden, it's a sovereign nation. So,
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
It was
Delaware
They were. That's right. They were in the sovereign nation.
Let's see. Tim says there are 4 Commonwealth states in the
Massachusetts
US.
is one.
Yeah.
Texas might be the other one. I'm not sure what the Commonwealth nations. What are the Commonwealth states?
Well, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I'll tell you, everything is buried. You got to click after click after click just to get one piece of
I know,
information.
that's what they make you do. Yeah. So
Massachusetts, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky.
oh
Those are the 4.
okay. What is Texas then?
It's not a Commonwealth. How's that?
It's not a state, I don't believe either. Is it?
Oh, hold on here. Those are the 4.
Commonwealth.
And now there's another thing here. What are the 7 Commonwealth? And they're not. It's just 4.
Yeah.
Nope, that's it. Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar. Well, maybe Virginia we might have heard, but the other states I never really, because we don't live close to them. So, yeah,
So what's the difference between a Commonwealth and a state?
I don't know. Ask the question.
I
That's
just
Google.
did. Their constitutions deem them as such.
Oh,
According to one Commonwealth's website of Massachusetts, the term Commonwealth which was preferred by a number of political writers in the years leading up to 1780, when the Massachusetts Constitution officially designated the state as such. The preference is believed to have existed perhaps because there was some monarchical sentiment in using the word Commonwealth.
Huh.
So basically, they didn't want to become a state.
gotcha.
Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of difference. Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Virginia, the United States. There are 2 other Commonwealths, Puerto Rico and the Northern Mariana Islands, but they are of a different kind. They are not states and have only a non-voting representative in Congress. While residents of these islands have U.S. citizenship, they pay no federal income taxes, though they do pay other kinds of federal taxes.
Texas is listed as a state. Yeah. So
Well, they can duke it out because
Yeah.
So
It is.
Victoria says, this guy filed with the state and town. It was bizarre. He refused to register his vehicles, didn't have a license to drive, yet he went all over the country.
Oh, well,
That's odd.
you couldn't get away with that today, though.
Who's to say you can't?
Try driving down the road without a registration or license.
Right, but if you live in your own sovereign nation, that doesn't require it.
Yeah, I don't think you can get away with it.
Well, tell me why. I mean, let's say
All right, well, why can't he? Why doesn't he can register their vehicles in the state of Connecticut? But why does
I'm not saying,
Foxwoods?
I don't know that, but
But they're registered.
right.
So if they're their own state, why doesn't it say Max Pawtucket. I mean, maybe it does. I don't know what it says on her plate.
I do not know.
Yeah, Mohegan Sun. What does they say?
Victoria, who are these people? She says this man's sons have continued it on to this day. So who are they?
If it was easy, a lot more people would be doing it.
Yep.
Well, when you get pulled over, hey, you can't arrest me. I'm a Sovereign Nation guy. I don't have a license.
Uh-huh.
See what they tell you.
I'm from Lash City.
There you go.
Sorry. Can't help you. Have a good day. And they stop you again.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I told you where I'm from.
Please step out of the vehicle.
I don't have to. What crime did I commit? Oh, yeah. Now all of a sudden, you watch all these videos, and all this stuff that you've heard, watching people that get stopped, like, I don't need to give you anything.
That's right. There's a lot of people.
See how that
doing
works out. See how that actually works out. They show things on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, but actually do it. You know what? If a police officer asks me for my ID, I'm probably going to give it to him. You want to know why? Because I ain't got nothing to hide and I'm not an asshole.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people
Otherwise you're just sitting there trying to make a problem.
Yeah, a lot of those videos, I don't know if they're fake or what, but they don't. And then somebody gets pulled over, and everybody's there with their phone out, taking video of it. So who knows? Oh
well.
I don't know either.
Scott just said, he goes, folks at Ruby Ridge thought it was a good idea too. It's in Idaho.
Yeah. I don't know how you would go about doing that, but I'm sure, like I said, if it was easy, there'd be a lot more people doing it.
Yeah. Perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, maybe 25, 30, 40 years ago, you might be able to get rid of, might be able to pull it off, but I don't think you could do that today.
The guy's name was Spud Noone.
Spud Noone.
Noone. He was a scandalous horse dealer. That's what Victoria says. So you're right. I think if it's very easy to create your own sovereign nation, you're
well, it's pretty easy. You don't put a license plate on a horse's butt.
What?
You don't put a license plate on the back end of a horse's butt.
Well, I guess not, but
so he got away with it. I think the rules way back then were.
I don't know how long ago was this?
Had to have been during the frontier days or the early 1900s. I mean, come on. Yeah, there weren't any rules in place back then, for crying out loud. I mean, some of those ranches out west were thousands of acres, for crying out loud.
So if you're in a state with, let's say, Montana,
yeah,
and there's just endless pastures and just,
yeah,
who owns it all? And who's to say you can't just go out there and plop? Are they going to find you? And if they do, are they going to care? If you're out there living sustainably, you think anybody's going to bother you? If you go out, I mean, and you're like 30 miles, 40 miles away from anything.
Nobody's going to bother you.
No one's going to care.
No.
So no one's going to give a care about that.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So why not just call it your own sovereign nation?
Sure. Why not?
Kind of landmark, what you claim to be your property. Put a claim on it.
Yeah. State within the
maybe
state.
It's even public domain,
Well, public domain is
unless you claim it.
That's not public domain.
No, but
public
you
domain
could claim it.
That would be the state or the town coming in to take it away from you.
You could claim it.
Yeah.
In Montana, Peggy says I might disagree. I don't know where you're going with that, to be honest with you. I still would go to Montana. Mark out like a 15-mile radius and just put.
It's very nice country.
Huh?
Beautiful country.
Big sky.
Yeah. Big sky, Montana.
I've never been to Montana.
I haven't either, but I've seen pictures of it. It's gorgeous out there. You know, yeah. Many of those western part of this country is beautiful. Speaking about the western part of the country, I was reading an article the other day that California is going to be like 10 billion in the hole.
Okay.
Because they're not collecting enough taxes to cover their budget. So they're going to be 10 billion out of whack, out of their budget. Can you imagine that?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. Yeah. So the poor people in California, whoever's living there, guess what?
Good luck.
Their taxes are going up. Yeah.
Well, they're not
billion.
collecting it, so it's a big difference.
Yeah, that's the state.
Mhm.
But you know what will happen? The federal government come in and bail them out. So, yeah. And he wants to run for president. So if they're 10 billion in a hole, what does that tell you about his
business acumen?
Yeah. So anyway.
I'm $50 in the hole. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, they're 10 billion in a hole. Can't imagine what that kind of money means to a town, to a state. 10 billion means there's going to be a lot. Well, they have a lot of homeless, so how many services they really providing?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people are leaving. That's the other problem.
What?
Leaving the state of California.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
I don't know. I'm sure they ain't going to New York.
Sanctuary states?
Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. Yeah. No.
Scott, that's a good point. It says I clicked on the wrong one, but you deserve the government you elect.
Correct.
And then he says, no new multi-purpose athletic fields for them.
Definitely not 10 billion in a hole. That's the state. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a city, but it's still 10 billion. So I wouldn't worry about $60,000 in education funds, because can you imagine what the education funds would be in California? I just can't imagine a state being 10 billion in a hole, not being able to cover their expenses.
Talk about funding cuts. Victoria says, did you know that Troop D, which covers 13 towns, now has 5 troopers on the road per shift?
Yeah.
Now, they're going to get assistance from the surrounding troops.
Well, yeah.
But 5 troopers for a 13 town coverage, that's not good.
Not good.
Or it's only 5 that they tell you about.
Yeah, I mean,
because these guys are like ninjas, man. I'm telling you, when something happens in Jewett City, we have a resident state trooper. There's like 6 all of a sudden.
Yeah,
they're there.
I don't think Connecticut really went through the whole defunding the police departments as they did in other states. I don't remember reading anything. I mean, we got that new thing that responsibly took away that, that law that protected them. So,
Scott says it's not just funding cuts, which is true. They're severely understaffed.
Yeah.
They had a period where there was a lot of people, a lot of men and women that are retiring.
Yeah.
From
get
state
replacements.
police.
Yeah, that's
to get replacements. I mean, they're furiously trying to put people in.
Yeah.
But that's part of the problem.
Well, this is the issue that just recently came to the news was in Austin, Texas, where you got the street races taking over city roads, and they're actually racing around the city, and there's a lack of police enforcement.
Yeah.
That one of the Congress women for the city called 911 and took 30 minutes for somebody to pick it up, because nobody wants to be they defunded everything, so nobody wants to pick it up. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the residents, they just taking over town, taking over streets, burning cars and doing whatever the hell they want.
Mm-hmm.
One cop ain't going to be able to handle that kind of a crowd.
Of course not. And there's a lot of people that don't want to become police officers anymore because of
So
some of the new laws.
look at some of the states up the northwestern part of this country. Some of those states that they defunded. Look at that one in Minnesota. They
Yellowstone.
no, Minnesota. I think Yellowstone's in Wyoming. So no, but yeah. So there you go.
Yep. You know, Scott, you're right about this too. It's all over the municipal police forces as well. No one wants to do the job anymore because people don't want to do the job and deal with the BS anymore.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, come on. If let's say it's like, oh, I want to be a police officer. Oh, what do you mean I got to carry my own insurance? Because if I do, if I stop somebody and I get perceived as doing something wrong, even though I didn't, even though my body cam and my cruiser cam shows that I clearly did not, I got to carry insurance. Why? Because I may get sued, not the state.
Correct. I mean, look how many.
Thank you, Police Accountability Act.
That's one thing, but look what's happening in some of the other areas where cops are being attacked. Just because you're a cop, you're being attacked. I mean, you go to arrest somebody and you got 15 people videotaping you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what the hell? You know, and a lot of them run. I mean, that's the other problem. They pull them over and they run. They don't stay, they don't want to get caught. So they run. And what does that do? Now you got a chase going on. So that doesn't look
they'll
great.
catch up to you eventually. They'll find you.
Yeah, they'll find you. It's surprisingly enough that they will catch you. You know, they think they're going to get away, but they'll find you. Because if you're running and then you abandon your car, you leave everything in your car. Guess what? They're going to find you, no matter what. So, yeah.
Victoria says, not that long ago, police were respected. You know, I was brought up myself, and probably you too.
Yeah.
You know, I think this one is certainly generational.
Yeah.
Where there are just certain that you just automatically respected.
Yeah.
Sometimes, whether it was earned or not.
Yeah.
Because, they were police officers.
Yeah.
They were doctors. They're attorneys.
Yeah.
Firemen.
Yeah.
No matter what, whether they earned that respect or not, you did. Teachers, clergy. These are people that you just that's it.
You respected them.
Yeah, there are teachers today. I'm 57 years old. Well, I will be.
Yeah.
If I see a teacher who is obviously a lot older than me out in public, it's still Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah.
And I've had teachers tell me, just call me. So no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There are police officers, troopers that I know. And if I see them out in a social setting, it's, hey, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Bumps, how are you? First name.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're out in public, it's good afternoon, trooper. How are you? You know what I mean? It's just, that's the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
Like our resident state trooper, John Martin. If I see him somewhere else, good afternoon, Trooper Martin. How are you?
Yeah.
Just because there's that respect because of what they do and what they stand for. And Trooper Martin, he does deserve the respect. So he's that kind of guy. But
no, it's not that way. Not that much way anymore. I mean, it's not that way anymore. I mean, I think a lot of them are disrespected. Not everybody doesn't disrespect cops.
Yeah, but there are some cops that are not very nice.
No, they are. They were, but let's face it.
But then again, there are people at Wendy's that are not very nice too.
I remember when I got pulled over when I was a teenager by cops. They were you know what?
Yeah.
They were nasty. Like, what the hell? I'm 17 years old and you give me all this crap, yeah. So they weren't very nice then, but I think and I don't know if they were trained to do that years ago. I don't know, but I think the whole training today is much different.
All right. Robert Smith. His name sound familiar?
Sounds familiar.
If I said Smitty, would you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, no. Yeah, I know who Smitty is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Former Jewett City police officer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was, I don't know, 16, 17, I'm driving to school. He, one day, was in his Jewett City Cruiser, was right there at the intersection of Ashland, Taylor Hill, and Pleasant View.
Yeah.
Right in the middle there.
Yeah.
He takes out, I mean, he's holding onto the radar gun, and he points it at me like it's a pistol. And he's smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm, of course, me and being, just going to high school, I'm like, I'm going to get stopped now. And he's laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
Well, I would see him after that. And he said, "Did I scare you?" I said, "Yes, sir. You did." He goes, "Good."
Yeah.
He goes, "You weren't speeding." He goes, "But I want you to know that you need to be careful at all times, not just when the police officer's there shooting the radar gun at you."
Yeah.
I tell that story all the time. All the time. He's still a police officer.
I know he is.
But he instilled something in me. It's like, hey, you know what? Just do the right thing.
I'll tell you, my interpretation went back then. He had a rumor of being a hard ass.
He was a hard ass.
He had a rumor of
Sure he
being
was.
a hard ass in the town of Jewett City.
But he cared. He still does. He's still a resident.
I just saying that's what his reputation was.
Look, I like Smitty. Always have. He's always been very nice to
Well,
me
you
as
were a
as
local.
kid,
You were a
you
local
know?
Jewett City kid, so he
Right.
knew.
But he was like
who
that
I
with all the kids too,
Yeah.
It's like he was like, okay, but he was also the one that come over and pat you on the back. Say,
I
how are you?
I never grew up in Jewett City,
Yeah.
so
Even today, I talked to him just the other day. He was walking his dog.
Yeah.
And he was talking about where, he works currently. And I said, when are you going to retire, dude? He
Yeah.
goes, why?
Yeah.
And he talks about too, how staffing is a problem.
of course, nobody. Why would you want to go into a job that people hate
Yeah.
you? I wouldn't.
Scott, you're absolutely right. There are terrible people in every job, from Wendy's managers to police officers.
He's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true. I mean, no matter where you go, there's somebody that's a jerk.
How many times have you worked for somebody and you had a boss that was a real jerk?
Yeah.
Who didn't like you for some reason, didn't like you at all, and picked on you forever. I had one. Couldn't stand the guy, but he would take credit for everything I did.
Yeah.
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 So I mean, and unfortunately, being in the position that they are, they hold you back. Seriously, they will hold you back.
I used to
Talk
work
bad
for, I used to
things
work for a
about you.
guy that would hold you back.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't want you to surpass what they did
Correct.
because of their own
So
ego.
they're still out there. Unfortunately, there are people work for today that have no clue how to handle people, and they don't. They're bad. And unfortunately, people have to put up with their crap.
So how do you change it? Or is there anybody that really cares enough to change it? Or is it just the way we're going? So, I mean, think about it. I mean, there's people in my generation who just respect, automatically. What's going to happen in 20 years? What's it going to be like in 20 years when a lot of us are gone?
There's not going to be any respect for anything if we keep going the way we're going.
Exactly. That's the thing that scares crap out of me.
Yeah.
Not so much right now because we're still lingering on to hope. But what's going to happen with the generation right now?
Yep.
The way they're going, and in 20, 25, 30 years, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah. But it's not all kids. It's some of the younger generation is that way, but not all of them.
Mhm.
And I hope
Of course not. It's not.
No.
Of course it's not.
I hope
everyone.
it's the kids that have brains in their heads overrule the kids that are on the wacky side. So, and maybe it'll iron out. Who the hell knows? But in 20 years, I'm not going to be around.
Yeah.
If I am, I'll be old and feeble and won't even be able to recognize the blinds I'm sitting next to.
For 20 years, you'll be repping Bob Barker, man.
Be dust.
Bob Barker is still alive, as is Jimmy Carter.
Well, he's still there, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you kind of hope things will work themselves out.
It'd be something if Jimmy Carter came out of this. He's come out of everything so far.
Yeah. He's hanging on there.
Yeah. And he's going to be remembered for everything except being a president. I mean, he'll be remembered as being a president, but he will be all of his greatest accomplishments will have nothing to do with being president.
No.
So, what about Rosalind Carter?
Yeah.
Still alive. She beat breast cancer.
Yeah.
Like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just immortal.
Well,
I don't know.
well, they're very religious people, so he's done a lot of good for a lot of people. So
Habitat for Humanity.
big time. Where would you ever think you'd ever see Trump with a hammer in his hand, or Obama with a hammer in his hand, helping out with a Habitat or building houses like Carter did?
I don't know.
Hell no. No.
I don't know.
Yeah. No. Because it's below that.
And this has nothing. No. You'll see nothing to do with anything. Trump, because of the type of person that he is, with being a businessman, and I'll find somebody to do this, that, and everything because I don't have to do it because I have a brain. And I feel my brain will run everything. That's one thing. Obama, I could see him getting out there, slinging a hammer. I don't know why. I just do. I couldn't see Trump doing it, but I do. I would see. I think Obama, whether you liked him or didn't as a president, he's a wonderful talker.
Oh, he's an orator.
And he's a great
No
statesman.
doubt.
As far as
That's
that is
how he
concerned.
got there.
Exactly. So, like I said, whether you
And he had the charisma about him.
he's got I think he's one of the more
Yeah.
charismatic
Yeah.
presidents we've ever
Yeah.
had. So.
Yeah, he could bullshit you from, that's just the way he was.
Yeah, I'm not saying he did a great job or a bad job. I'm just saying
Yeah.
he was very charismatic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But who knows? So, hey, Dave Polino, I'm glad you're here. Our friend Dave, who had surgery a couple of days ago. And I've tried to stay in touch with him because I know he's hurting and I don't want to bug him. But he looked pretty sexy in his hospital moo-moo, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, you can't say that.
Hubba. Yeah, I can't say that. You look mighty nice, David.
That's better.
That's right. Very handsome.
No, can't say that either.
You can say handsome. Paul, you're a handsome man.
That's not a good thing to say.
You would not appreciate if I said, Paul, you're a handsome man.
I think I'm going to change this radio station name.
Oh boy. As long as there were cameras around, Obama would be all over it. That's the difference between him and President Carter.
Yeah.
It's charisma.
Trump was not a good orator at all.
Huh?
Trump was not a good speaker. He was not. Because during his speeches, he would repeat himself 2 or 3 times with the same thing.
Uh-huh.
You ever listen to some of his speeches?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he would say stuff.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. Not even those words. It'd be the same thing he'd repeat over and over again.
Just think about Americans.
Yeah.
Look at my hands.
Of course, Biden,
Be the greatest thing you've ever
he
seen.
reads the teleprompter, so
Be amazing.
it's a wonder how he could speak.
Who? Biden?
Did you watch any of the film with him over in Poland? He is very fragile.
In Ukraine?
Yeah, he's fragile. Even the way he walks, he's fragile. Yeah.
Well,
So,
we elected him.
people elected him. But you got a mouse in your pocket?
No, we did. We
Yeah,
did.
we did.
The Americans elected him. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trump was only good at saying things to get a reaction. That's what Scott says. So anyway, ECS funding, blah, 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 blah. We're getting cut in there. Let's see. What else we talk about? Just a little bit of everything again today. Here's something that we didn't talk about.
What's that?
Tonight, we are going to be carrying high school basketball. It's ECC, not ECS, ECC basketball tournament time. The boys. Grizzled has the number 1 seed in Division 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a first round bye.
Yep.
So tonight it's going to be Plainfield playing Putnam. And that's going to be at Putnam High School, and the game starts at 6:00. And we are going to be there live covering the game. And why? Because it's relevant. And why is it relevant? Not just because it's Plainfield, because they're our neighbors and stuff, but the winner takes on Griswold tomorrow night. So Griswold be in the 1 seed, and then you have the 8-9 seed, which is Putnam and Plainfield. One of them is going to get eliminated. One's going to move on to the quarterfinals.
Gotcha.
So we're going to carry the game. The game is going to start at 6:00. It's going to be a little bit earlier than normal. But we have to watch and see what's going to happen with the weather. Because supposedly we're supposed to be getting some sort of freezing rain or whatever.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing, I thought I saw on the weather this morning that by the morning commute could be a little bit tough, but
Well, we're past that.
yeah, but
We're past the morning commute.
no, I know that, but
There was a little bit of, I noticed frost this morning.
yeah, it was.
All right, so let's see. Today, a chance of rain, snow, and sleet between 1 and 4 p.m. Then rain and snow likely after that, increasing clouds with a high near 44 degrees. So there's not going to be a lot of freezing going on at 44 degrees.
I would think up in the high country it will be.
Okay. Tonight, rain, snow, and sleet before 10 p.m. Then rain possibly mixed with sleet. Temps around 33 degrees. Tonight, no real accumulation. Well, they said about a ½ inch.
Well, I think they changed a little bit because originally they said it was going to be a big icy mix.
Yeah.
And I think now it's, at least that's what they're saying. It's going to be kind of changing the rain, but they were talking icy mix was going to be the big deal.
So where we are going to be tonight, is Putnam.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the same forecast and the same temperatures, sans a degree or two.
Yeah.
That's about it. So we'll keep you posted on whether or not the game will be played tonight or whether it will be canceled. So, but if it is, we'll have it here on SNSN. It'll be myself, John Harden, and the Dan Matheson on camera.
Gotcha.
So, all right, we'll see you Friday.
Yep.
All right. Hopefully we'll have Chris back for Retiree Row.
Oh, good.
And ask Chris anything.
Good.
So, hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. And we will see you tomorrow right here on, hopefully tonight, for the basketball game, Putnam versus Plainfield. Winner gets Griswold on Thursday night. So if they're not, I'm assuming they're just going to move it up one day. So tomorrow would be, so anyway. All right. Have a good day, everyone. See ya.
Hi, this is Lisa Griffin of Eastern Connecticut Savings Bank. Well, some banks offer checking account rewards, and some banks rebate ATM withdrawal fees. At Eastern, we say, why choose? Check out our Kasasa checking accounts and find out how you can get both. For more information, visit bankeasternct.com, call us at 860-889-7381, or stop by any of our branches.